Carl and Damon here from Games, Brrraains A Head-Banging Life. gbhblofficial.com for short, and it is. They made one into a TV series. Episode number 32 of Donkey Kong Country, or episode 6 of season 2. This is 4 Weddings and a Coconut. A dumb name because technically there are 2 weddings.
Yes.
2, really, if you want to break it down. 1, really, but 2 if you want to do the back and forth.
Yep.
An episode that makes Candy look the worst. I already think she's the most horrible character in it because of how she's written sometimes. And in this one, my God. I wanted this episode to end with DK just leaves her at the altar and is like, you know what, fuck you, man. Get in the bin, you know? But that's not quite how it happens. This is written by Terry Saltzman. A different name, yes. Bluster comes on to Candy and she rejects him. And I just wanted to start the episode, I was like, oh.
Here we go again.
Oh. They get into it about DK and Bluster demanded to know what's so great about DK. We've done this!
We've done this more than once.
We've done this! Why are we doing this again? She says that he will do anything for her, but Bluster suddenly wonders, well, would he marry you? And she seems startled by this, but insists that he would. DK and Diddy arrive at the Barrel Factory with a plan for DK. Look, I'm going to ask Candy to postpone our lunch date so he can go fishing. He wants to go fishing and figures he can postpone his lunch date.
Yep.
Candy coming out, he asks her, and she agrees provided he does her a favour. Marry him. Marry her. DK is not on board, even suggesting that a man should ask the women, sexist, which Candy turns on him and tells him to ask her then. Well, like, yeah, alright, you ask me then.
Yeah.
DK pretends that he's called away and runs off, which makes Candy mad. Diddy finds DK hiding in the jungle, and DK doesn't want to marry, but is pretending that he's got reasons not to, even suggesting to Diddy that the coconut forbids it. Diddy suggests, okay, well, let's go ask Cranky. And after we see that Cranky and the coconut aren't going to forbid it, they're like, no, we've looked, it's fine, you can marry if you want. Of course you can marry, what difference does it make? Yeah. DK faints, and later he and Diddy are walking through the jungle, and Diddy's making plans to move into DK's home. So DK's basically like, well, when you're married, you move in with Candy and I can have your place. Okay?
Yeah.
All of this is overheard by Clump and Crusher and head off to tell K. Rool for some reason. K. Rool is super excited about the wedding. As it turns out, he's a romantic. Did laugh at that.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, because I initially thought we're not doing anything for Mr. Coconut here.
Yep.
We're going to do a fun thing where K. Rool thinks he should be at this wedding.
Yes.
And he isn't going to be. I was down for that. He also thinks he will be the honoured guest as the king. I was like, God, this guy's an idiot. But I'm down for this.
Yeah, so
En route to Candy, DK snaps and reveals to Diddy that he doesn't want to get married. And I was kind of like, why?
Yeah,
I don't understand why. Like, what they needed to do here is do a nuanced thing where DK is scared of commitment, maybe, that level of commitment, or doesn't see it as important and stuff like that. But it's just, I don't want to get married. I'm like, but you love her.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any difference.
It doesn't really explain how long they've been together too, I suppose. But obviously, we don't know how long it's been. Obviously, for in episode.
Well, I gather it's been a long time.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what we presume. Yeah.
But he's constantly heart eyes at her.
Yeah.
Why would he not? Why would this be an issue for him?
Yeah, well, he's been after for ages to date him. So
yeah. Diddy reveals that he doesn't think she wants to marry him either, and it's just for show. And it's told via a song, yes means no. DK is now confident and interrupts Bluster, who is now trying to ask Candy to marry him. He gives her flowers and starts to propose, but struggles to get the words out. Bluster interrupts again, but DK still can't quite get the words out. Candy's getting madder and madder at this stage. He eventually manages to get some words out, and Candy takes them as a marriage proposal, which causes DK to faint again. Diddy comes in and discovers that Candy said yes when he was expecting her to say no. DK comes around, and Candy starts to wonder, maybe he doesn't really want to marry me. Duh.
Yeah, it's obvious.
Especially as all the other apes are now getting involved and being like, oh, thought you didn't want to get married. Like, Cranky appears and is like, oh no, I found a loophole. And DK's trying to shut them all down. But the loophole is DK must ask Inka Dinka Doo's permission to actually get married. Yeah.
Why?
The idol apparently controls all.
Of course.
DK is very happy about this, but manages to play it off and heads to Inka Dinka Doo's place. With Candy revealing that the wedding will take place tomorrow. Okay, that's a reason to be annoyed, DK.
Yes.
Why tomorrow? Calm down. In the temple, DK and Diddy talk to Inka Dinka Doo. The idol's mysterious words confuse them, and they end up enraging it, forcing them to run out. But DK isn't happy with possibly having to lie, so heads back in alone and falls down a trapdoor for some reason. Meanwhile, Candy and Dixie ask Funky to deliver invitations, and we see one get loose and blow away. I thought that was going to be important,
Yes.
but it's not. Because we focus on it, I thought that was weird.
When I saw it, I thought, okay, that's going to blow to K.
K. Rool's lair,
Yes.
and he's going to think he's invited.
Yes.
That's what but no, it's not at all. In the temple, DK is trapped in a pit and assaulted by traps. Meanwhile, K. Rool was trying to teach Clump and Crusher to dance so they don't embarrass him at a wedding. Funky arrives and delivers an invitation, but just to Clump and Crusher, not one for K. Rool. That's, and it's like, okay.
It's harsh,
right.
man.
It's harsh. It's harsh. Obviously, K. Rool is very upset by this and declares that he will now stop the wedding. So it's like, okay, we're going to go that route. Yep. I'm down with that.
Yep.
It's the next day, and no one knows where DK is, who is still lost in the bowels of the temple. Candy is at the altar and looking concerned. Everyone is ready except DK. She thinks she's been left at the altar and is so incensed, so angry, that she declares she'll marry Bluster instead. And that's why I was like, what the fuck, man?
I know, man. What a bitch, man.
Yeah, that's a terrible, terrible look for her. DK has fallen into another pit and finds a gold ring, which reveals what Inkadinkadu was saying, and the idol releases him to go to his wedding. The cheers for that, Inkadinkadu. Yep, being a dick again as well. DK heads off as Candy plans to marry Bluster with Cranky officiating. Along the way, he's interrupted by K. Rool and the gang who plan to stop him getting to his wedding. Now, they surround him, and you might be wondering why DK doesn't fight them off, but they actually explain this. As DK runs out of the temple, he talks about being starving and proves that we've established that DK is hungry, he can't fight, he's not as strong.
It's sort of Popeye with
yes.
Yeah.
As the wedding goes on, K. Rool and Clump see what is happening at the wedding, and K. Rool realises he can get the coconut. Yawn. Yep. Meanwhile, DK is able to get free from the goons by suggesting they could all come and dance at his wedding. And it's song time. The banana do-si-do. So he starts to get them to dance, and because they're idiots, they dance. And allows DK to slip away. DK arrives at the wedding right at the interrupt part, as he naturally does. Does anybody here have a reason why this wedding can't take place?
I say, Cranky is such a dickhead.
Yep.
Why the fuck's he allowing this to happen?
Yeah, I don't necessarily blame Cranky for officiating because Candy can get married to who she wants.
I know, but like, hang on. I'm not going to allow this. This is like my fucking... I don't know what DK is. His son,
well, he doesn't get to the side, does he?
Yeah, but he ain't got to do it.
He hasn't got to do it, true. But Cranky is the real villain here. Candy is the real villain here.
Yeah.
100%. DK lands on Bluster. He then reveals he wants to marry and gives Candy the ring. No words here, because I'm like, DK, please turn around and say, what the fuck? You're going to marry Bluster?
Yep.
The moment I'm just a bit late. Do you know what I mean? Like, hardly says you love me, does it?
Nope.
Meanwhile, K. Rool and Clump are in Cranky's hut trying to work out how to open the case, which is done by Cranky giving DK his walking stick to tap on the floor for some reason as part of the ceremony. Something he does so heavily that it's heard in the hut and the coconut case opens. It's like, that is dumb.
That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Yeah. And it looks like K. Rool finally has what he wants. But like, we've done this before. K. Rool takes the fucking coconut, and then a minute later DK takes it back. He's never going to get to keep it.
Nope.
Except no, they're now seen as apparently the wedding officiation was happening outside, which is what I didn't realise at first. I thought it was happening in a barrel factory. And K. Rool taunts them for some reason, which is a really dumb move as well.
To let everyone, I've got the coconut.
Yep. DK though refuses to go after it until the ceremony is complete, and Cranky tries to rush through it. Candy then reveals that she doesn't want to get married, okay, just yet, and sends him off to get the coconut, which DK is like, alright, cool, and gets it back immediately.
Yep.
This is a really dumb ending. Mm-hmm. With that done, DK arrives back and everybody cheers, and they decide to have a party regardless of the lack of the wedding, and everyone dances to end the episode. And what started off as a fun, different idea just dissolves into absolute nonsense. Rubbish, coconut-based, boring ass nonsense. Didn't like it in the end.
Yeah, it's sort of like a poor excuse to try and get K. Rool to the wedding, but he should have just turned up.
I just think it would have been funnier if they'd done the idea, right? fact that he doesn't get to the wedding, he's hurt by it, decides to try and wreck it.
Yep.
And then we have antics around him wrecking the ending, leading to DK and Candy deciding they don't want to get married just yet. That's it.
Yeah, there's no need for again another episode with coconuts, and
Yep.
it was disappointing.
Yeah, didn't care for this one at all. It's the sort of thing where by the end I was just like, I'm tired of Donkey Kong Country.
Yep.
Very tired of Donkey Kong Country, people, as you can probably tell. This is episode 32, 4 Weddings and a Coconut. You got any thoughts and you know what to do? Let us know in the comments.
Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?